eyeshadow palettes, my favorite. Let's talk about them. The Sephora sale is here. Hey y'all, it's Heather, and I'm so excited because I'm going to be talking about eyeshadow palettes today. Absolutely love eyeshadow. It's one of my favorite parts of makeup, and I want to talk to you about all the palettes at Sephora that have launched this year because I have bought almost all of them. The sale starts on October 31st and runs through November 10th. This is a sale that Sephora does twice a year, and it is my absolute favorite sale. Starting on the 31st, Rouge can get 20% off, the 4th, VIP can get 15% off, and everyone who is an insider can get 10% off. The code that you want to enter at checkout if you're shopping the Sephora sale is code EVERYTHING. It is free to become an insider, and if you are Rouge, you are getting 20% off. I have these and more here in front of me. I wanted to talk about all the palettes for 2025 that have come out, kind of give you some follow-up thoughts on these. Some of these I have dedicated videos on, and I will definitely link those for you, but we have a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it with one of the newest palettes to my collection, and that's a quad from Urban Decay. This is the Moon Dust quad that they launched this year. This is a really cute theme for Urban Decay for this year. They launched it with these pinky purpley colors, and I am so excited about that. Last year they launched a more neutral version of this quad. It is the same packaging, so if you bought last year's limited edition quad of the Moon Dust shades, I said I love the packaging of that one, and I feel the same way about this one this year. Like, I love this packaging. It feels really nice and weighted but not too heavy, and I really like that Urban Decay gave us some purpley tones. So this is pinky purpley cool leaning, but it's a great curation of 4 shades, and I bought this as soon as it dropped at Sephora, and I have been using this, playing with this. It's really great for one and done looks. There are no pressed glitters in here. I know Sephora has it listed as a glitter quad, but if you were like, I can't do pressed glitters, that's not this. It just has very much like sparkle in that. If you've ever had a Moon Dust shadow, you know the formula. It's very sparkly and beautiful. It's not a thick, chunky glitter like I had as a kid in little makeup sets in the early 90s. You know what I'm talking, you know. If you know, you know. This is beautiful, fun, fresh. I really like that they did these purpley shades. I mean, maybe Urban Decay next year, you could do like an olivey quad. You know, I'm gonna always ask for greens, but this is great. I love the one I have from last year. Pinks and purples in this one though, I'm buying. Listen, Urban Decay, you bring these out every year. Whatever color you do, I'm buying it. Now, as much as I love the quad, let's talk about the Shapeshifter palettes from Urban Decay. No, they're not Shapeshifter. Those are, Heather, what year is this? Those Shapeshifter palettes came out so long ago. These are the Naked Shaped Multitasking palettes, and I bought both of these. Let's talk about them together and individually, because if you didn't know, there's a warm version of the palette with more warm shades, which is better for me. I have a olive undertone. It is warm leaning. I prefer warm shades, but I also bought the cool palette. This is like cooler tones, cool, you know, shadow, and for cooler undertones. I bought both, and I did make a full video on this. Please check that out if you want in-depth review on these palettes. You want to see them like applied, every shade, because these are multitasking shades. So I want to put that out there, that these are not just eyeshadow palettes, and I know that. I will take that into account, but I decided to put these in with the eyeshadow palettes because for me, that is primarily what this is. I feel basically the same way I did in my video when I was first testing these palettes. I don't like the feel of the packaging. I love the concept. I love the way it looks. Like, I love this wave. I love that both of these have like a kind of like shift and sheen to them. I love the slide up, but what I don't like is that I don't have a cover for my creams. So you can get powder into your cream products. This plastic, it feels very inexpensive for the price of the palette. I would have much preferred a tin like they used to do back in the day with the Naked palettes. But, you know, that aside, the quality of the powder shades in here for the eyes are really, really nice. I said in my video, and I still feel the same way, that this formula up here, we have it here in this shade right here in the cool palette. And then moving over to the warm palette, It's this shade. It's really beautiful. It has a very pretty topper sparkly quality to it. I wish that we would have had 2 of that formula in this palette. That definitely would have bumped up the value for me. These are not bad palettes. I think these are good palettes, okay? They're gonna stay in my collection, but would I recommend these for the Sephora sale? No. I think they're nice, but they're not top favorites for me. Let's move it on over to Pat McGrath. And I did buy her new holiday palette. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Gilded Nirvana Mega Eyeshadow Palette. I bought this palette. I buy the Pat McGrath holiday palettes every single year. I can't resist. I love Pat McGrath and I love reviewing makeup. If you are new here at my channel, please do stick around, subscribe if you love makeup, because I am a makeup lover. I feel like I know when Pat McGrath is amazing and I know when maybe you can kind of skip it, save your money. Here's what I think about this holiday palette. It is the look that I'm wearing today. I think it looks really pretty and soft. To me, this is a palette for looks like what I'm wearing today. Very easy, very effortless. You're not gonna get a ton of range in the looks that you can create with this one if you are someone who likes to create contrast with light and depth and different textures and finishes, because there's really only one matte shade in this palette and the rest are different forms of shimmer sparkly shades. So to me, this is almost a palette that is a collection of one and done shades, which I do really enjoy. If you've been here for a while, you know I love that type of palette. This palette is not the amazing, amazing Pat McGrath formula that we know and love from the brand. It's not the mothership formula. She has done formulas like this before, so you will definitely be familiar with that formula if you have like the small palettes from her Star Wars collection, that type of formula. So it is very nice, but if you were thinking you were gonna get a sample of the Pat McGrath mothership in this palette, you're not gonna do that. And it is still very pricey at $76. I do think it's good that you can get this at a 20% discount at Sephora. And I know a lot of times these brands will run different sales on their site where you can maybe save a little bit more, but I really do enjoy the convenience of Sephora, being able to shop from one place. I do like the packaging of this palette. I like that we have this mirror. I like that it kind of stands up. But y'all, do you see how small the palette is? For reference, let me just show you next to the Hourglass Face palette. It's like the same size, right? So just bear that in mind. This is the smallest palette for holiday that we have had from Pat McGrath yet. Earlier this year, we got a new Pat McGrath Mothership palette, and I have to say, I am still loving my Petalmorphosis palette. I won't spend too long on this palette because I do have a full video on it, so please do check that out if you're curious, because Pat McGrath palettes are $120+, okay? They are pricey. So I bought this when it first released so I could test it, try it, and now the Sephora sale is here. If you can get 20% off on this and you've been eyeing it, I think it is a great deal. It is really, truly beautiful, and this is a color story from Pat McGrath that made me so excited because we have green, that makes me so happy, but we have that mixed in with her, you know, her love of the pinky purpley shades. But I think this is special and unique. We have a beautiful like purpley silver shimmery shade. I enjoy this so much. It's that beautiful Pat McGrath, like mothership heavy, almost just like a weapon. It's so heavy. Like you could do some damage with this one. It is so great. I really enjoy it, and I stand by what I said in my video. I love reviewing Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona makes some of my favorite eyeshadows ever, and I buy all of her palettes. Not all of her things come to Sephora, but there are 3 palettes this year new from Natasha Denona at Sephora. I'm pretty sure that the mini eye sculpt palette launched this year. So I wanted to talk about this one because this, you may look at this and think, that's all I ever need. I look at this first and I'm like, oh, okay, like that's not exciting. But what it is it's a staple. It's a staple for me. It's at that under $30 price point already, and then you get the 20% on top. I love to pair this with like that Pat McGrath Shimmer Sparkle holiday palette because I have the mattes in here, a black and a cream. I can give myself a light inner corner. I can give myself a dark outer corner. I can do liner. It's a perfect companion palette. Now, she also launched these. These are the Eye Sculpt Texture and Tone palettes. So there is a soft version, and what is the other? Dramatic. I'm like, it's soft and what? Dramatic. Okay. let's talk about these two. Let me show you these two side by side. I do have a full video on these as well if you want to see like more in depth. Everything I talk about, I'm going to link down below in the comments, in the description box, and I'm going to use YouTube shopping. If you ever shop through my links, thank you so much. It really helps me out so much. This is the soft palette up top. I've got the dramatic palette on the bottom. I wanted you to see those side by side. And let's talk about the soft palette first. This one is full of more soft tones, especially over here on this side. Now you do have shades in here that will give you drama if you want to, okay? We have different undertones. We have yellow undertones, peach undertones, rosy undertones, cool undertones, warm undertones. You have variety in here. It is a neutral palette, and this palette is not an all matte palette. I saw several comments on like this palette saying, why is this one all matte? It's not. You have shimmers in here, and you kind of have some satiny and different formulas. So this one is really nice, but I am all about the drama. So I love the dramatic palette, and I know this one was specifically created for deep skin tones in mind, or people like me who like dark shadows, deeper shadows. This one does have some really beautiful shimmer shades. We have nice contrast. Even though this is a dramatic palette, we still do have some lighter shades. I really like this one. It's really nice, really beautiful. If you want to try Natasha Denona, you want to try neutrals, I think that they're really beautiful. If you don't want any more neutrals in your collection, maybe you have the Biba palette, you are good to go. But I love Natasha Denona, and I love her palettes. Hourglass released quads this year, the Curator eyeshadow palettes. Okay, a collection of 4 shades in this tin packaging like they do with their holiday face palettes. I don't like that these don't stay open. Like there should have been something in there that I could keep it and it wouldn't just, I don't know, the packaging could be a little elevated. And I said that in my video. I did a whole video on these. I think the packaging could be just a little more elevated, but here's what I'll say, okay? These are pretty quads. These are pretty quads. Look at them. You see them? They're neutral. I bought 2 of them. There are more shades available, but they're all neutral. Okay? These are $68 a piece, and I do not feel that the quality of the shadows justify the price. If you love Hourglass and this is the palette that you are using every single day, I love it for you. That's wonderful. I don't regret my purchase because now I know what the formula is, how they perform. I can share that with y'all. I enjoy that. For me, I would reach for my Sigma quads that are way less expensive. I feel like they are just as amazing, even more amazing in my opinion, just a little more. You know, we're all about more is more. Those give me a little more pigment, a little more blendability, a little, just better, you know, and they're at a less expensive price. If you love Hourglass and you love the type of color stories that these have, watch my video, and if you love it, I love it for you. Again, there's nothing wrong with them, but I do think you can get a very similar result for a much lower price point with Sigma Beauty as opposed to the Hourglass. Let's kick it over to my favorite palette at Sephora of 2025. So far, we still have a little ways to go. This is the Myrick's Lightwork Volume 3 Freedom Palette. This palette is genius. I'm gonna quickly go through this because I love it. Okay, I reviewed this palette's version last year because she did do a limited edition Lightwork last year. It sold out during the sale, if I'm not mistaken, and it did not come back. So if you have your eye on this, if you want it, keep an eye on that because I do have a feeling this one will sell out. I'm not trying to like give you FOMO. I'm just trying to share information because I love this palette and I know last year was such a hit. I have a full video on this palette where I'm eye swatching every single shade for you. Please do check that out if you were curious. This year for this palette, Myrick's gave us more matte shades, which people were asking for a lot last year, and it gives us a lot more neutral shades, although we do have a lot of colors still. So you have lots of great options. If you have not seen this design, I will go over it quickly with you. You can take the lid off. You can pop out this like this. All of these pop out. You take your little palette, you go back to the lid, and you pop out the center that is a mirror. Stick it on there, and boom, you have a little mini palette to go. Additionally, you can pop out the shades individually. There's little grooves, you can pop them out. It is so nice, so genius. And I believe that DeNasamarix has that pending for a patent now, which she should, because this is amazing. The shadows inside have so many different formulas. Like I said, we have mattes, we have shimmers, we have multi-chromes, we have different finishes and textures and formulas. This is the winner of 2025 for palettes at Sephora. It is. It just is. You heard it here first. It's my favorite palette at Sephora right now. I love it. I love it. And that leads me right into the DeNasamarix Beauty Freedom palette, the pastels. So this launched earlier this year in the springtime, and we have a mini version. So like you saw with the big one, I could pop that out like I did earlier and slide this one in, move the shades around, mix and match, do that with last year's. I love that. I think it is a genius system. This is not my perfect color story for a look on its own. I'm not a pastel girly, you know? I like to use pastels with other shades. So I got so excited, I dropped, thankfully, nothing broke, stable formula. We love that DeNasamarix. So these shimmers, love. The mattes, I love as blending shades, inner corner pops, light shades. I don't just do all pastel looks. That's not my vibe. But I love pastels with deeper shades. So I use this as like a companion palette, a mix and match with this. Super happy with my purchase. Love, love, love. If I didn't say it before, let me say it now. I did purchase all of the palettes that I'm talking about today. I purchased these, and I feel like I'm getting hot. Like, it's so hot in here. It is still so hot here, and I'm talking and I'm excited, so I feel like I'm getting flushed. Let me take a breath and a drink. This is the YSL Couture Mini Clutch Eyeshadow Palette. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I'll put it here on the screen. This is my first time trying YSL eyeshadows. I love YSL products. Like, I love their mascara. I like their eyeliners. I like their blushes. Like, I really like YSL, but typically it's complexion. I've never tried their eyeshadows until this year. So when they had a green quad, I bought it immediately. And this is sold out and restocked, and it may be sold out again, but hopefully they will restock it again because I love this color story. This is luxury shadows, but it is more pigmented and beautiful than I expected, because a lot of times with this, like YSL, these more luxury brands, you are not getting a lot of pigment. This is pigmented, and I really was happy about that. They were so easy to work with, and the green shimmer down here is kind of a satin shimmer, very pretty, but we have a really sparkly white with a kind of green flip to its shade, and I was very impressed. I don't care about these little applicators down here at the bottom. I know some people really love them. For me, that's just a throwaway. I would prefer like just these 4 shades, or maybe like 2 more down here instead of these, but you know, YSL didn't ask me how they should design it, so I guess there's that. That's just my personal preference. The packaging is luxe. It's that kind of like leather feel with the raised YSL on here. Really beautiful, and honestly, I'm buying more YSL palettes if they put them in color stories that call to me like this. I think that's really nice, and I'm definitely open to buying more. Speaking of soft shimmers, satiny formulas, this is the Embers palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now, my personal preference is more high impact shades, but if you missed out on Anastasia's Master Palettes by Mario way back, I did a video on it too. Like, most of the things I'm talking about, I have in videos and I will link those. But this, I mean, it's basically like they brought it back. The formulas are very similar. This one is a little more improved, but you are getting those satin shimmers. Honestly, I wouldn't even call these shimmers. I would say they are like satins. They blend beautifully, and if you have a lot of texture on the lids, this is really nice. You don't want that high impact. You're looking at my look and you're like, oh, it's a little too sparkly for me, girl. This could be for you. It's really pretty. I really like the color story too. You get some warm tones, some cool tones, so you have options. It's at such a good price point already, being under $35, and then you get 20% off on top. I think, like, it's really nice if you like that type of formula. A very soft matte, very blendable, very pretty. not a super sparkly, not even a shimmer. I would say it's like a very subtle shimmer, and a satin shadow had a baby. It could be really beautiful. And I do like the compact size of the palette. It's a 9-pan. It's in this nice dark green packaging that I love. And then it's compact, so it's easy for travel. You do have the nice mirror in here, and it does stand up. I don't know, that's something that I really like, that if a palette's gonna have a mirror like this, and it's gonna be in this hard shell packaging, have the mirror stand up, and ABH did that right. I think this one is really, really nice. Last but not least, let's talk about the Makeup by Mario limited edition palette for this year, the Ethereal Eyes Nature Eyeshadow Palette. I did buy the palette that he launched last year, Ethereal Eyes Moonlight, and I like that one, but again, I'm not a gray eyeshadow lover, and I do prefer warm shades over cool shades. This palette is a neutral palette. It's a neutral palette. It does have a pop of a green that is very neutral leaning, and this kind of like red burgundy brown, but that's still really neutral leaning. I much prefer this palette to last year's palette because of the tones. The formula in last year's palette, amazing, beautiful. The formula in this palette, amazing, beautiful. I really enjoy it. I think this is great eyeshadow quality from Makeup by Mario. I will tell you, let's say it. I probably should have said at the beginning of the video, I am not reviewing palettes based on swatches. I will swatch a palette because I want to show you how it comes up on my skin, how it looks on the swatches. You can see it all swatched out together. Does it look like from pan to swatch how it is? I can feel the texture, I can feel the formula, I can look at it, I can ooh and ah, but I'm testing my shadows on the eyes, because I'm not putting on my makeup in the morning and walking out the door like this, full of swatches. Like somebody would think I'm wanting to fight them, right? But I'm just walking around with my swatches. No, I want it on my face. I'm wanting to apply it. These shadows are great quality. They blend beautifully. They're pigmented. On the eyes, they're beautiful. They're what they are in the pan. You get beautiful Makeup by Mario mattes. You get beautiful shimmers and formulas in here. You have some topper-esque shades. You have a formula that's different in here, being a little more putty-like. So I really like that when palettes have different formulas, textures, finishes. To me, that makes the palette elevated and exciting. And Mario, the palettes are a pretty penny, but I'm happy with it. And if he launches an Ethereal Eyes next year, which I hope he does, last year I said, please give us a green one. One green shade is not a green shadow palette. So I would love to see another olivey palette, but I'm so happy with this one. Definitely happy with my purchase. Definitely will purchase again if he launches a 2026 version for holiday. When I shopped my stash, looking through all the palettes I had bought this year, I was surprised that I didn't have more from Sephora, like Natasha, Denona, Bloom. I definitely thought Sephora had that, or the Gloom, but I definitely follow up reviews on eyeshadow palettes. So if you love eyeshadow palettes, stick around, because it's the end of the year, y'all. That means my eyeshadow palette collection video is coming. Those are typically 3-hour-long videos. Subscribe if you love long videos. And we have my year-end palette ranking, where these palettes, along with all my indie palettes, all my other palettes, will be ranked best to worst, from like the bottom spot to the #1 palette of the year. So definitely subscribe, stick around, and y'all, if you love Sephora videos, more are coming. If you don't love Sephora videos, you don't have to buy these palettes at Sephora. I hope it was still helpful to you. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm popping up more Sephora or eyeshadow palette videos here for you. Definitely stick around. Let's talk makeup down in the comments.